Hello and welcome to this, episode 4 of Super Freak Media's monthly podcast, No Ghouls Allowed. This month we are going to be talking about unpopular opinions. We've each brought something to the table that we are adamant is true, but nobody else is going to agree with us, in theory. Unless Charlie and I have got something similar, because she's given me like the weird eye across the room.
That's just the way she looks.
Sorry, standard Charlie. We're also going to be having a quick chat about what we've been up to, and unfortunately this week Richard isn't with us, so it's just myself, Liam and Charlie, the three amigos, the three musketeers.
Did you forget our names
three
then?
Blind mice.
I think we should just take a minute of silence.
For Richard?
I think the viewers would love that.
On the podcast that they're listening to.
Just
amazing.
To be fair, he's not seen anything anyway, so...
It's very true. He's probably still listening to that audiobook. Anyway.
Salty bitch.
we love you, Rich.
Love you, seeing. So, what have we been up to since last time?
Oh god, don't hand to me. Okay, what have I been up to? I filmed for Pandemonium, which was super cool, with Maiko Entertainment, which is MJ Dixon, and I wanted to work with him for a long, long time. So it was nice to finally get on set with him. And yeah, the character I was playing is Carol from HR, and I would describe her as an assault on every sense. She is, she's a woman. So yeah, I was very happy to be on set, and it was awesome. And I had a lovely day into the very early hours of my morning down in Milton Keynes.
So is this a feature?
It is a feature. Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah. So.
Second feature of the year. If you count You Are My Sunshine.
Kind of, because I'd say I'm going to count You Are My Sunshine because there's almost a picture wrap, isn't there?
Yes, almost.
Yeah. So I'm going to say it's my second feature of the year, even though I filmed for Sunshine last year.
Choice.
Thanks.
Done a lot of good stuff.
We also went to HorrorCon, didn't we, darling?
Yeah, so in Sheffield, it was a couple of weekends ago now.
Yes.
So one weekend in May, we HorrorCon is hosted at the Magna Centre in Sheffield, which I think is probably the best horror convention in England. Controversial, but they always get really, really cool guests, and there's a lot of great stalls, and the talks were amazing. We got to meet some amazing people.
Yeah, there were some really good guests there this time.
We got our photo with Dennis O'Hare from American Horror Story, and Corey Feldman as well, who strangely looked a lot like Michael Jackson in person, which was very strange.
And he's a lot smaller than I thought he would be.
Oh, he's so small.
He's so tight. He's probably
small.
the same height as me, and I'm 5'4.5".
Wears sunglasses indoors as well, which is always useful.
Great.
So yeah, he was pretty rad.
We met Dario. Well, we both met Dario Argento, didn't we?
Yeah, met Dario Argento, which was something great off the director's bucket list, I guess. Yeah. And he did a talk as well. Spoke about Suspiria, Giallo, Deep Red, all those sorts of good things. So that was crazy cool, because he was such a wise old guy who you could just tell had seen horror change through the years. So that was really cool. But we only went to one day, didn't we?
Yes,
this year,
which was good, because last year we went and I think we could have put a deposit down on a house with the amount of money that we spent.
Yeah, we did very well this year, not spending.
Yeah, we met.
Who
else
much.
Did we met?
Scout Taylor Compton. Yeah. So Laurie from the Halloween remake.
Yeah, it sounds like the calibre of guests is.
Yeah, it's
really good.
Really, really good.
We met Jennifer Rubin as well, didn't we? Who played Taryn in Nightmare on Elm Street: Dream Warriors. So I was very excited to meet her.
Yeah.
She was very, very cool.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
In person as well. Everyone was super friendly. I think that's what's nice, and you can just tell that you're surrounded by people who equally as interested in horror as you are, so it's just a really, really great atmosphere.
Yes.
But we did that. I guess more locally as well, there was the 24-hour film contest by Five Lamps Films, which me and Charlie were actually asked to be guest judges on.
Yes, we can out ourselves now. We've been sworn to secrecy.
We didn't obviously speak about it before, because we knew some of the people that were entering, but that was really cool, and we got to see who was entering, kind of what they'd come up with in the time, and I think that was the 10th year as well, wasn't it, this year? So huge shout out to Five Lamps Films, because they've been going for that long. And it's always an amazing event, so that was nice to see the high quality of content that was made.
And it was actually nice to see other people's films and judge them instead of
being
staying
judged.
awake and being really tired. And
I slept so well that weekend, so everyone who entered, well done.
Well done for getting your films across the line.
But yeah, no, that was good. And then...
Favourite film of the Five Lamps then, can you tell us?
My top one was, and I'm really sorry if the people are listening that I've got the title completely wrong, but I think it was called I Daydreamed that I killed Tom from work, or killed Tom from my office. I'm really sorry.
I think it's Tom from work,
Yeah, but that I thought that was kind of funny. It had a bit of a vibe about like Wanted. It looked like the bit in Wanted where James McAvoy kind of decks his manager.
Yeah,
with a keyboard.
It was a black comedy.
Yeah, black comedy. It was funny.
Which was quite enjoyable.
Yeah, I thought it was shot quite nicely as well. So that was my favourite.
I personally enjoyed The Viewing, which was absolutely crazy.
It was a lot of fun.
To summarise, I guess, kind of what happens. This guy goes for a house viewing, and he's being shown around by this guy who's absolutely mental, but so funny. And as he's doing stuff, you realise that the people in this house are actually part of a cult, and they're all just ascending, cult, so they all just slowly commit suicide as he's going around the house. And then there's like a weird puppet monster at the end. It's just, it's everything that I could ever want.
Oh, that sounds brilliant.
You'd absolutely love it. I know
that
you
was
would.
one that I think I watched thinking, John, I would like.
I think the comedy this year was really like high up there. Like there weren't that many serious films. I think everyone played for comedy, which was interesting to see.
The last couple of years that we entered, when we came third one year, and the year that we won, there was a lot of horror or sci-fi or like more social realism stuff, whereas I think everyone kind of went a bit more down the comedic
was just having a good time with it this year, which was
it.
nice to see.
Cool.
Yeah, it seemed like there were a lot of new teams entered as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think was it 24 entered, but there was 20 films that got past the line, so
that's got to be a record for
I think they said it was the most that had ever entered, so that was amazing to see. I think it does just grow though, doesn't it? Every year, like you see the caliber of the people who are entering, the quality of the films, everything. It's it is really good to see.
Yeah.
But I guess speaking on films, we have also been gearing up for 3 shoots next month. So there's been a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. Yeah. So we're being quite ambitious. We're shooting a sci-fi and 2 horror films in June. So that's going to be good. So
and you're
next
in
podcast.
2 of them.
Yeah, you are.
Rock on.
Hey.
So that's going to be amazing, getting to work with you in that way.
Hey, very nice.
But yeah, so what about you? What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? I mentioned last time, I'm trying to think if I mentioned this last time or not, or if I just finished it or was just about to do it, but we shot a little western with Ollie Griffiths.
Like a western?
Like a western. Not that kind of western. And like an actual western, where I get to play basically the opposite of my character from Enemies with Ollie as well. So
you're an absolute bastard.
Absolute bastard, which is nice.
Yes.
Because it's nice to play the bastard every now and then.
Yeah, you're always the good guy. I think because you're just a good guy anyway.
Because you just look like a nice dude.
About that.
Yeah. Plot twist.
Turns out, bastard.
Bastard.
So we did that. We went to the Nexus Film Awards as well.
Oh my god! How did we completely skirt past that?
Which Enemies was nominated for quite a few awards.
I think the most awards out of any film
10 awards, which was pretty cool.
Well deserved though. It's an amazing film.
And Best Friends Forever was nominated for 4 and won 3.
Yes.
Which was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Because Liam was late, I picked up the award.
Hey!
To be honest, almost didn't end up going, so it was a very happy accident that I did end up going, because we did quite well there.
Yeah, what did we get? We got Best Horror / Thriller.
Yeah, Best Horror / Thriller.
Sound.
Best Sound Design / Mix. Best Editing.
Whoop.
As well. So, yeah, amazing work. Congrats team. Go.
Go team. That's 5 awards now for Best Friends Forever. Not that I'm keeping score because I'm like
award-winning film.
super competitive.
And it's still racking up the views on YouTube, which is nice.
It's like 158,000 the last time.
It's
I checked earlier actually.
Nice.
I had a little cheeky reshow.
She
on
checks
Twitter.
every day.
Yeah.
100%. I do try to check all the time.
Refresh.
Thing
No,
is,
it's nice to be proud of it, I guess.
it is nice, and it's weird, this one, because when Mr. Creek got that spike in views, it was very much because it was shared by IGN, shared it, and then
BuzzFeed shared
BuzzFeed shared it.
This seems a lot
And
more
this
organic,
one-
I think, yeah.
It just seems to have either word of mouth or it's popped up on recommended videos and people have clicked on it. So yeah, it's nice that
And I'm
one's
still
found
getting,
its own audience.
Yeah,
if that
I'm
makes
still
sense.
getting messages now. Like, I got a message from somebody who I've worked with on an audio series, Alan. Hi, Alan. I got a message from him the other day to say he'd seen it at Nexus, and he was like, "Oh my god, it was so good." So like, even now, still, there's people that haven't seen it that I've either
the
worked with or I
momentum's
know
there.
somehow that are dropping me messages to say they've seen it, which is crazy cool.
It's been really positive because, I mean, in all honesty, behind the scenes, it was a bit of a tricky production because we did end up shooting it a year prior and then reshot it because I think there were things we wanted to change and we knew that we could maybe do a little bit better. So I think it's nice to see because that hard work is then worth it, I guess. If you're getting that recognition and the support's always appreciated. So yeah, it's nice to see.
Have we seen anything since last time? Because I know I've got a couple of things that I've seen that I want to have a quick chat about.
Well, Avengers. Seen Avengers since last time.
Is that since last time?
Yeah.
I don't know if we expect. Is that since
we were
last
gearing
time?
up to watch it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, went to see Avengers. In case anybody hasn't seen it, I'm not going to say anything about it, but I cried for pretty much the last hour solid. Yeah. And that's the only spoiler you're getting from me.
I feel like it's been a whole lot longer than like a month since I saw that film. That seems so weird.
Yeah, it only came out, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, because we were watching, we were talking about Pet Sematary and Us before, and then the next film we went to see was Dumbo with my mom, and then we went to see Avengers.
And of course, Game of Thrones is finished as well.
I'm getting there. I'm on series 4.
Oh.
I'm on series 4, so I've had the
You're
Red
like halfway
Wedding.
then.
I am. I'm nearly there. So I've had the Red Wedding, which was totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
I was not prepared for that at all. I actually had to Google a few things afterwards to check that people who died were actually dead. I was like, no. So didn't accept the Red Wedding, and I think I'm probably allowed to say this. Joffrey's just been. So that
literally one of my favourite things
that
ever
was
when he
the
dies.
best thing ever. I was like,
Now I've seen a clip of that. I haven't watched any Game of Thrones yet, but that's one of the clips that keeps coming up on Facebook. And
see, I haven't.
I don't even know who he is, but I
died.
think it's fitting.
I knew he died, but I didn't know when. But I had a feeling it was after the wedding or at the wedding, and then I was like, "It's happening!" I was so excited when he died.
It is.
But then, of
it's
course,
the only time that you can actually watch a child die and go, "This is good. This is good news."
Yeah, but then I'm still at the point where I don't. He must get away with it because he always does. But I'm at the point where they're very much blaming Tyrion.
Okay.
But Jaime's back now with his gold hand,
Cool.
him and
No doubt.
him and Cersei had a nice little sexual reunion at the side of Joffrey's dead body, which was lovely.
I feel like we're getting very specific now.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm going to
So
jump
let's
back in.
maybe just stop.
I am just going to say one thing about the last season of Game of Thrones. I'm not
So
gonna
have you
spoil
finished
anything.
it then completely?
I've finished
right
it.
at the end.
Were you disappointed? Because a lot of people were.
Okay, I was not disappointed in how it ended, but I was sort of disappointed with how quickly it got there.
Yeah.
So that's all. I don't want to say much else
Because
because
there's only
people.
6
There's only 6
isn't
episodes,
there?
and
I think so many people have kind of said that,
Yeah.
it just, they tied everything up all in kind of one swift go.
Everything that happened made sense for the characters,
But it could have happened a little bit more
If
progressively.
it happened slower, it
Yeah.
would have made more sense.
Yeah.
But episode 5, literally some of the best TV I've ever seen.
Really?
Just effects wise, some of the editing in there, absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, amazing.
It would not look out of place on the big screen.
Well, I
So
think so
excited
that-
because I've got a week off from the day job next week, so Game of Thrones week.
It's literally, I think we're at a place where TV is nearly as, if not as cinematic as what we see at the cinema.
So good.
I mean, things like Stranger Things, if you think about the production design behind that, and obviously Game of Thrones, they're whole worlds that are being created now with visual effects, which is like by studios that do the effects for the movies.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's insane.
It's nice to see A, that gap was closed, but then
Yeah.
also B, that actors who before wouldn't be seen dead on TV
Yeah.
are taking the TV roles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
But I feel like it's leading. There's a nice kind of backwards and forwards with some actors, isn't there now?
Definitely.
With TV and film, and it doesn't feel forced, I guess.
Another thing that I've been watching, because we got a Now TV pass for Game of Thrones because we're cheap and don't have Sky.
That's what I did too. Woo!
We've been watching Chernobyl.
Oh, I need to watch
apparently
this.
that's the second highest rated show on HBO, isn't
Oh,
it, ever? Like, it's supposed
I'm
to
sure
be.
I read something earlier that said it's made HBO and Sky the most money
Yeah.
out of anything
It's crazy.
ever.
I've not even seen the trailer, and I feel bad because I'm just seeing really good stuff about it. But
It's kind of come out from nowhere though, hasn't it? Like, as far as I'm concerned, like, I haven't seen anything really like you.
Is it
I haven't
good?
seen a trailer or anything.
It's bleak, but
yeah,
it is.
well, it's going to be, isn't it?
Oh, so good.
So is it about the disaster itself then, or the aftermath, or both?
It's about the disaster itself and then the aftermath. But then I didn't realise just how close it came to being so much more of a disaster than it was.
Really?
And I don't know if either of you guys watch Friday Night Dinner,
No.
which is
It's
one
got the
of
guy
my-
from In Between, isn't there? Isn't it?
Yeah,
It's that one.
it's got,
Yeah, yeah.
Simon Bird.
Simon Bird. It's got one of my favourite comedies on TV, and the dad in that is just hilarious. He's in Chernobyl, and he plays a character that is like a million miles away. And
Very serious, then, mate.
Very serious.
Yeah.
So well done. And I think that one thing that I really like about it is the fact that nobody does a faux Russian accent. Everyone plays it British,
Oh.
which works. It
Okay.
really works.
Oh, amazing.
Because I think it would have taken something away if people were they're talking like this, and it is why.
Pulled me up on the impression I did on the last podcast, but we're gonna keep that one in.
But yeah, so good. And I'm just going to tell you one thing about it, which
Okay.
amazed me. At Chernobyl, the first thing that happened was they had the incident, we'll call it that,
Yeah.
and they used basically a Geiger counter, but they called it something different,
Yeah.
to measure the radiation.
Yeah.
It went up to 3.6. Now, the Geiger counter they got only went up to 3.6.
Oh
So-
no.
Their response was, ooh,
It's only
3.6.
3.6.
not great, but not horrendous. When they finally got a proper
No.
one in, 15,000.
No. Oh my god.
This is the thing. He was so sort of adamant that this couldn't happen,
Shit.
that the readings must be false,
Yeah.
or no, you're mistaken. It's not actually blown. It's not blown up. You're mistaken. It's just the water. It can't possibly.
Oh gosh.
But
Oh my
yeah,
God.
horrendous. The only reason that it actually got out into the wider world, that they knew about it, was because it was picked up by a nuclear facility in Sweden. Otherwise, they would have
Jeez
tried to keep it a
Louise.
secret, which is just
That's
crazy.
That's
Horrendous.
scary, isn't it?
I mean, we know someone who's actually been to Chernobyl, and like, because you can do those like experience
Yeah.
days there. And I'm not gonna lie, part of me wants to do it, but
I'd
then
love
also
to go.
part of me is like, is this gonna have an effect on me?
There's a thing on Netflix
And I
called
think-
Dark Tourist, and he.
Mm.
I don't know if he goes. I don't think he goes to Chernobyl. I think he goes to Japan.
He does Fukushima.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was.
You can only be there for like
awful.
so many hours though, can't you? And then
Yeah,
And
but they
yet
had the
I'm not
Geiger
sure
counters, and
there-
it was like they went into one area and it went, and it went up, and I was like, no, get out! You're gonna. That's not okay.
I think that it's getting to a point though with like the decay where they're going to have to stop even doing that though for some period of time. Like I think they're going to have to stop doing like those tours and things. But I mean, I think a lot of them are probably done not
Yeah.
legit anyway. But yeah, I mean the photos. You know Kara, who we
Yeah.
know, the photos that she took there were insane. Like because everything's just left, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like there's literally still dinners, like tables set for dinner, and
Because I
because
assume
people were just like, you need to go.
people thought they were coming back
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they didn't know what had happened. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think, in its own way, that is one of the scariest things I've seen, because
Yeah.
it's sort of, oh my, that could have been
Yeah.
so much worse.
Mm. And it's the fact that we've caused it and we're doing it, and like
And we're still using
yeah,
nuclear power. Yeah.
and we're probably only like, what about the ones that we don't know how close we've got?
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, there's the famous story of the Russian missile, isn't there, where their location equipment malfunctioned, and they thought that the US had fired to them, and they were deciding whether or not to respond or whether or not it was an error, and stuff like that terrifies me, because we are literally two button presses away from
the entire
world just engaging in a global war.
Happy days.
Yep.
Cool. The bleakest episode of the podcast yet! Yay!
But linking onto that, I mean, I don't know, was there anything else that you'd seen?
Kind of, but I'm going to chat about it in my unpopular opinion.
Ooh.
Well, a nice segue from nuclear warfare. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the new series that started on BBC called Years and Years.
No.
Oh
I
my
haven't, but I
days,
really want to.
it is incredible. Like, I love Black Mirror and things like that, where they kind of give you an idea of what the future could be, but with this dark twist, because I think ultimately technology isn't the nicest thing all of the time, and we always have a way of using it in the way that it probably shouldn't be used. But Years and Years, I think, takes a different approach. It's written by Russell T Davies, who obviously I loved when he was involved with Doctor Who, and it's like, I kind of say it's like a British Black Mirror, but kind of funny in places as well, but it really does have those emotional beats, which is great. I think we're 2 episodes in now, and it starts with the birth of a child in this family, and there's brothers and sisters and a grandma, and the brothers and sisters are all different kind of people, all from different walks of life in kind of British society. It starts with the birth of this child, and then this montage just happens, because one of the characters just kind of says, I wouldn't want to raise a child in this world, I wouldn't want to see what happens to them. So obviously the series is going through what's going to ultimately happen, but it starts like in present day, so Brexit, Donald Trump, all of this is part of the series. And then just out of nowhere, America fires a nuclear bomb, and then you kind of you think that would become like the core of it, but it doesn't. And it's just really eye-opening to kind of see how fragile society is, I guess, because all of these things that we kind of know and love now are so easily taken away. So I definitely recommend that. It's probably fast becoming my new favourite show.
I've got on the iPlayer.
Definitely check it out. It's really good
to watch.
Charlie mentioned this earlier, but The Rain is back on
Yes.
Netflix as well,
Yay.
which is a stunning series.
I think I've got to rewatch like the last couple of episodes of the first series, because there was such a big gap between them both being on Netflix that I've completely forgotten how it. I think I remember how it ended, but I want to refresh myself before.
It does at the start of the second series give you a recap.
Oh, good.
So
I'll crack
that's a
on with
bonus.
that then. Yeah, but it's very good.
I think
series.
I need to check it out. You definitely recommended it when you watched it.
Yeah, I think I watched I thought, it's something, because everything on Netflix, some things are really super good, some things are a little bit.
I think their series
crap.
are always legit. I think it's their original films that sometimes are a little.
Well, I was a bit umming and ahhing about it, but I watched the trailer for it and I thought, this looks quite good. Watched the first episode and I was like, hooked. Done. That's it. Finished. And I think I watched it all in like a week.
Yeah.
Because it is properly good. Yeah. And it's Dutch, but it's redubbed, isn't it? But it's not annoyingly.
Yeah. Is it Dutch or Danish?
One of the two.
This is awful. We're terrible people.
Yes, it's one of the two. But
it just goes to show you just how much good TV there is out there,
Yeah.
and also how much more we actually get to see now. Because we wouldn't have seen that 15 years ago.
No, it's true.
It'd be very niche, and it'd be
you've had
a
to
weird
seek it
shop
out
or something. Yeah, absolutely.
It's very, very good.
I think it's very interesting that we've all spoken about TV series as well, pretty much, that we've kind of seen. There's I think there's a lot of cool stuff happening at the moment.
Talking about
TV.
Cool stuff happening.
Yeah.
Cage Corner's back.
Oh God! I wondered where this segue was going.
Corner.
Oh, shoehorned it in. This one's more of a little story about Nicolas Cage in his younger days, and
I could just sit and listen to stories about Nick Cage all day.
And his friend Charlie Sheen,
Bloody hell.
he starred with in Deadfall, which is a fantastic film. and the copy that I have has...
Is it fantastic though?
Don't you say every film that Nick Cage
Every
is in
film
is,
that Nick Cage in it is
a
fantastic.
film, yeah.
But this one is particularly fantastic, and I say that the copy that I've got, I think what's happened is, much like Friends, where it's sort of been redone for widescreen and things are in there now that
Shouldn't
shouldn't
be in
have
there.
been.
Yeah.
You can see the top of the sets in quite a few shots.
Oh,
Yeah.
dear.
That happened with the Buffy transfer, didn't it?
Oh, did it
when
as
they
well?
went to HD, like the crew were just at the edge because it was 4:3, and then
Yeah.
they just used the film. Yeah, no, sorry.
So yeah, Charlie Sheen, Nicolas Cage, starring Deadfall, and this was very importantly. Got to stress that this was pre 9/11. So this is.
I feel like this is about to go to a real dark place.
Well, no,
Yeah.
not a dark place. Just you can see why the airline security wasn't what it is now.
Yeah.
So they were on the plane, Charlie and Nick. I can't remember where they were going, but Nick Cage decides to play a prank on everyone in the plane by wandering up to the front, taking the intercom that the stewards and stewardesses use, and basically announcing to the whole plane that he is the pilot and that he's lost control of the aircraft. Hilarity ensues.
Oh gosh.
Oh dear.
And he basically gets told that he needs to go and sit down and that he'll be arrested when he lands. He thinks this is hilarious. Charlie Sheen's sweating next to him because he's got an 8-ball of cocaine strapped to his leg.
This film is fantastic.
That's not a film.
Oh,
This
is
is
it
the
not?
truth. This is the true story.
No.
What? It's a true story. So he's panicking that, oh my god, we're going to land. They're going to arrest me, which is, I can probably talk myself out of this, but they're going to find the fact that Charlie's got a lot of cocaine on him. But anyway, they land, and apparently Nick Cage manages to use his charm and talk himself out of what he calls airport jail, but then also get Charlie Sheen off and away with his coke. So, nice little story there.
Oh my gosh.
About
Wow.
Nick Cage and his best buddy Charlie Sheen.
Almost apt when I
legit thought that was a plot of a movie. I did not
It
realise
does
that was real life. I'm
I
sorry.
saw a meme on Facebook earlier that was like beauty bloggers applying like liquid eyeliner, and then there was a clip of Nicolas Cage being like the every man, every woman comparison of trying to do liquid eyeliner just with a paintbrush of like black shit, just like drawing a circle around
From
his eye.
Zandali.
I don't know
I
what film
think
it
that's
was
the one
from.
where he covers himself in paint.
The fact that you just know that is everything.
There was
think
a
it's
woman just
Zandali.
applying some really nice winged eyeliner. I was like, oh, that's nice. And then the comparison was like Nicolas Cage with a paintbrush just painting black all over his eyeball.
Yeah, he basically swims in that at the end.
Lovely.
Covers himself in black paint.
Oh,
Great film.
good.
Fantastic. Let's go as far to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing.
Shall we get to the crux of the episode? Which
I'm scared.
I think we may have stolen from Radio 1 slightly.
I
with-
may have been driving to a gig when I thought this would make a good idea for a thing that we
Thanks,
should
Greg
do.
James.
Yeah.
Unpopular opinions. Based on film, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Mine. Well, I've got 1.5.
Yeah, mine's a 1.5.
I kind of really struggled with this, in all honesty. But I'm interested to see what you guys say and fight you on it.
I'm just
I'm
gonna.
going to upset you 100%.
Okay. Shall I? I'll go with my
Are we
first
going
one.
with just horror, or are we going with kind of some movie opinions?
I
on horror,
kept
or...
it to horror.
Yeah,
I kept
I
it
tried
horror,
to.
although I have got quite a controversial mainstream movie one, which I think we discussed off sound.
Off sound.
Off,
Cool.
off of the
off
sound.
sound, yeah.
Off of podcast
Off sound.
last time, but I have kept mine to horror for this.
Awesome. I'll give you the one that links first to something that I saw last week.
Okay.
Okay.
So I've been quite excited for some time. The Satori screenings at the Quad. They were showing a double bill of the original Japanese Ring
Oh yeah.
and Audition.
Yes.
And unpopular opinion, Japanese Ring ain't scary.
Oh no!
This was going to be one of mine.
No.
That I think the American
Oh,
version
no.
is better.
No,
Right.
no.
Now, I'm not saying that it's not a good film. I think it's an amazing film. I think it's brilliant. I really enjoyed it. But I would say it is more of a mystery thriller, I was not scared once. I was tense, but I think that was because it'd been built up so much that it was going to be like so scary. And I think maybe the fact that the whole Japanese ghost girl thing has been done to death now.
Yeah.
When she finally crawls out of the TV, I was like, there it is.
That's what I mean. I was going to say, because you've maybe watched that kind of post Japanese horror wave that we had, do you think that's why it's maybe not so scary? Because that image, like initially, could have been quite jarring and made you feel kind of uncomfortable if you hadn't seen it repeated and repeated.
I think if I'd have seen it when it came out, I would have pooed my pants. But still,
nice.
Just out like an otter. It would have. I don't know. It just. I wouldn't really class it as a horror film, in a weird way. I think it's a thriller. I think it's a very, very good thriller.
See, I think that the Japanese ones are like worse. I think there's a lot of moments of like quiet in them. Like I'm speaking like about The Ring, but also about The Grudge as well. I think there's a lot of moments of you're waiting for something to happen that never quite and so you just feel physically like.
Well, the approach is a lot differently, isn't it? Into like how scenes are staged, how
I kind of got a little bit bored with the kind of what I'd say is melodramatic acting in the American Ring. I think like in the Japanese version, there's a lot more tension for me, and I think it makes you feel a lot more uncomfortable. Like with the American one, I feel like it was very much dumbed down.
The American one was more jump scary.
Yeah, but it was very much dumbed down, like you were kind of beaten over the head with the idea of something rather than it just being.
I absolutely loved the American Ring. Like, I think Ring 2 obviously deviated and kind of went into a different direction, and Rings was, we don't even need to bother mentioning that. But I don't know, I really liked the American version of The Ring. I thought it was really interesting. I think The Grudge, I agree with you. I think the Japanese version is probably a little scarier. But I think part of the reason maybe they're a little scarier when they're in their native language, I think, is because you don't fully understand what's going on. It's like with Wreck and Quarantine. I think because I'd already seen Wreck, I knew what to expect, obviously, in Quarantine. But with me not understanding kind of what was being said and having to read the subtitles, and I don't know, obviously different countries and different languages have different rhythms. I think that can be a little scary sometimes.
I think as well, it's when you watch a horror film from a country that isn't your own, or isn't America, isn't Western.
Yeah.
It's that sort of unknown aspect to it.
Yeah.
But it's a different culture. There's a different vibe to it totally, which can really put you on edge. And I think that, it did that, but I didn't think it was scary.
I saw, obviously you mentioned the screenings at Quad. There was the film that you mentioned a couple of podcasts back with the security guard and the zip tie.
Oh.
Watch that clip. And yeah,
dream
not
home.
on. So
is that the
not
one
on.
where he gets like the Stanley knife and just...
Oh my god, it is awful.
Stabs himself in
it's
the neck.
friggin' awful. Like, but in a really good way.
So well done.
But yeah, I mean, I think that is probably what's more expected from Asian cinema though now, is kind of like the over-the-top violence.
And this, that leads me on to Audition, which we saw as well, which had been built up to me as like absolutely kind of disgusting, the bit that happens at the end, like the whole, I guess what you call like the torture sequence, but tame, I think, in comparison to probably again what is on screen now.
Yeah.
But at the time, I suppose you've got to use like context. Like
I think that's it.
At the time, I remember watching Audition a long time ago, and it was absolutely horrendous when I watched it. But I think I probably agree, like now, like the torture sequence wouldn't be as shocking because of all the things that have happened.
I think it's very hard to shock audiences though now, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
because
incredibly hard.
The real world is usually a lot scarier. Like if you go on the internet, you'll probably... I can remember there was a time where literally every other report on the news was like about journalists or someone like being beheaded and there being a video online. So that sort of stuff in films isn't as shocking, I guess, as it would be maybe even 10 years ago or so. Or,
well, that's it. I
yeah,
think Audition's about... must be 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You forget, don't you, that that's actually quite a long time ago.
I think, yeah.
One thing that I did learn in relation to the Japanese Ring was that it was filmed back to back with a sequel.
Oh.
Called, I think it was called Spiral, I might be wrong. But it came out at exactly the same time at the cinema. It was like a weird experiment where Ring came out and its sequel came out at the same time.
That's crazy.
And just completely bombed.
Really?
And then they just basically sort of brushed it under the carpet and then made Ring 2. Because they...
So Ring did well. But Spiral,
I think
or the
it was
sequel,
Spiral, just absolutely bombed. Different director, same cast. Just didn't work, apparently.
That's so
odd.
Yeah,
a strange
it's a
way
cool
to make
idea.
a film.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to be seeing more and more kind of things like that actually happening, like more often, like with unique releases and because I don't know, there has to be something now to get people's attention. Do you know what I mean? And and obviously with the likes of Netflix and stuff, you pretty much do get. I mean, I know films do generally film back to back, like Avengers, for example. They filmed all of that like last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I know obviously Endgame's only just come out, but
and you get the simultaneous releases with Netflix and the cinema, Sky Cinema and the theatres.
But they did that with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the original ones, didn't they? They kind of just didn't stop shooting.
Yeah.
They just carried on.
It was such a mammoth production though, wasn't it, that one?
I think they had, was it something ridiculous? Like 80, Sophie will probably know this if she was here, 18 years of pre-production, or not 18 years of pre-production, but the whole trilogy, including pre-production, took 18 years.
I bet it did.
To make and do and film and.
Well, they'd have to wait for the technology to develop, because I know that they were like one of the first ones to use the cloning of.
Weta developed like
the
specialist like stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Stuff like that, but yeah.
So Liam,
interesting.
Unpopular opinion.
Okay, well, my unpopular opinion, I guess, is I actually favour some of the remakes that have come out to the originals. So kind of similar, I guess, in kind of what you've said. And then some of the remakes that I think have been heavily favoured to the originals, I kind of disagree with. So I'll specify, I guess, more in terms of the films I'm talking about. So I personally think that the Evil Dead remake in 2013, I believe it was, that came out, far surpasses the original.
Would you argue, though, that it's a totally different film?
Yes and no, because I think, yes, obviously we've got a completely different protagonist. We haven't got Ash, we haven't got the... It was a very different tone. I think the original went for laughs and seeing hose pipes sticking out of people's cheeks and blood gushing and all of that sort of jazz. Whereas I think the
remake's a lot darker, isn't it?
It's a lot more polished, a lot darker, a lot more serious. But I think that's why I enjoyed it a lot more, because I didn't really enjoy Ash vs Evil Dead. I think the tone for me is kind of what I don't like. Friday the 13th, the remake, which basically encompasses the first 3 original films into kind of one, I think is amazing.
Oh, it's the opening sequence of the remake that shits me up. Something horrendous.
Well, I think
it's the bit where he runs towards the woman.
Yeah.
It's like backing away from... I don't know why I'm demonstrating because it's a podcast. But he just swings the machete just as it cuts to then the present day. So it's horrendous.
Yeah, really, really good. And I mean, just adding like subtle things to it. Like, for example, Jason running made it terrifying.
So when we're talking about the remake for Friday the 13th, when was this?
2014, I think it was. Was it 2000? Was it really that? I thought it was a lot later than that.
2009, no. Yeah, because it's 10 years since the remake was out.
Oh, God.
Dang.
Yeah, 2009 that one came out. But then, more recently, we've had Halloween, which technically wasn't a remake. Obviously, it's a sequel, but really, really good response from fans. It was the film that they all wanted. Halloween, to me, is probably my favourite horror film ever. The original. I really didn't dig this sequel, remake, reimagining, rebirth
Dare I ask
thing
where you
that
stand
came
on
out.
the Rob Zombie remake?
So with the new one,
Because I personally quite like the Rob Zombie. Everyone's going to come for me now on social media, but I personally quite like the Rob Zombie version.
I do. I like the aesthetic.
Not the second one,
I like
though.
that they approached it differently. I like that it did try and offer something new. Because for me, that's where I enjoy remakes, is when they take something that works and then they kind of
to me,
try
in the Rob
different.
Zombie one, the bit where he gets the big freaking piece of tree and beats the crap out of the bullies.
Kill another kid
it's horrendous.
is not something that you used to see.
Yeah, no, that's not okay.
And so I like the brutality, I guess, of that. But for me, with the new Halloween that came out, so happy to get Jamie Lee Curtis back. But for me, the saving grace was like the last 15 minutes. Up until that point, there was some nice nods and references to the original, but I thought it was overall pretty terrible. I just really didn't have a good time with it. But again, remake-wise, technically horror, I think it is. I really, really loved the latest version of Ghostbusters with the female cast, which is a very unpopular opinion, because I think
loved
for a long time that trailer was the most unliked video ever on YouTube, and I got into many an argument with people on social media about that. But I don't see how why you can't enjoy the original and the new one.
Unless
I do
it's
think
the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Yeah, but then I do agree that Carrie as well, for example, I think were awful remakes.
If you are not Robert Englund, you are not Freddy Krueger. I don't have a problem with... I can't remember his name, and I'm shooting myself in the foot.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Thank you. No, not Jeffrey Dean Morgan. The guy who plays Rorschach in Watchmen is Freddy Krueger in the remake.
No.
It is a name like that, but I can't remember. It's going to bug me now.
Oh my god, I do know his name. Just wait a minute.
Is Jeffrey Dean Morgan a person?
Yes,
he's also in Watchmen.
Yeah.
He played the comedian.
We're Googling now.
And he's in Supernatural as well. No, Jackie O'Haley.
Jeffrey Earl Morgan.
Yeah.
But
him. I've got nothing against him. I think he's fantastic in Watchmen. But Freddy Krueger, you are not.
See, I think
the makeup was awful. It was too
good.
Digitised, and it was what we were talking about. I can't remember on a previous episode. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake for me. It was.
You've literally done what I do with E.T. You've just brought Nightmare on Elm Street into every episode.
That's what I bring
so
to the
far.
podcast.
Every episode.
The kids were just a bit too squeaky clean.
I think they were also adults. They weren't really kids.
Yeah, and it just felt a bit too much like adults playing kids, and they were all very polished and nice, and they had like, we've got such teenage angst problems, and it was.
But that's not an unpopular opinion, because I think everyone pans that as one of the worst remakes ever. But yeah, I'd say that my unpopular opinion is that some of the remakes, I've personally enjoyed what they've offered when they've offered something different.
Okay.
Because to me, that should be the point of it.
I think that's fair. I think if you're going to remake a film,
don't
just do it shot for shot.
Yeah.
Like Psycho.
Yeah.
Try and at
Although,
least...
the remake in the 90s, watched that on Netflix quite recently.
No.
Not mad at it.
No.
Not mad at it. Vince Vaughn playing...
well, Vince Vaughn's actually very good
very
in quite a lot of
actor.
things.
Very good actor. Julianne Moore as well. Julianne Moore.
No, I must say
involved.
the only Psycho remake that
I'm not saying it
I
is
like
the
is
original.
the Bates Motel series. Other than that, apart from where Rihanna came into it and played Marion Crane, that can just get
I'll beep that.
But yeah. But yeah, that annoyed me quite considerably, because I just thought there were so many better actresses out there that could have played her.
Sounded a bit like stunt casting.
Yeah, it 100% was.
Yeah.
100% was. Rihanna's got a makeup line out, let's sell her makeup by putting her in a TV series, let's sell the TV series by thinking her makeup.
I think it was an inspired casting, we'll say that.
Stupid.
But I didn't personally think it was as bad as I thought it was going to be. It didn't take anything away from it, and I actually kind of liked the little twist and spin that they did on it, because it didn't happen obviously exactly like it did in the movie, which was nice.
It didn't, which was nice, but with the Psycho remakes, they can all just be gone. Unless it's Bates Motel or the original, I ain't interested.
Okay, Charlie, hit us with your opinion.
Well, I've got 1.5, so I'll go with my half first. My half is because I did have, not 100%, but I have slightly changed my mind on it.
Interesting.
So but I still do stand by it to a point. I think that Alien is a very, very overrated film. And the first time I watched it, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I thought it was just really boring. But saying that, I don't know whether it's because I watched it when I was studying film at college, and because I was watching it with like a student head on rather than watching it with like a cinema fans head on, that I really didn't like it. But I struggle a lot with space films, so for me it was like aliens in space.
Yeah, I was going to say you really struggle with sci-fi. I think in general, it's not really your cup of tea. Yeah,
there are. It takes a lot to impress me with a sci-fi film, I think, because I think they can be very hokey and very daft. And to a point, I think that's where I struggled with Alien. I thought it was a little bit hokey in places and quite slow and boring. And I'm offended a lot of people.
No, you've not offended me, because I hadn't seen Alien until quite recently. We went to see it at the cinema as one of these revival screenings, and one thing that I thought stood up well was how it looked. I didn't think it looked hokey at all. I thought it looked fantastic, but I do sort of get the boring thing.
It's very slow. I mean, I've watched it again since studying it, and I think, Liam, you made me watch it because you really wanted me to change my mind on it.
I just think you needed another watch.
And I do appreciate it, and I appreciate the makeup, and I appreciate the effects, and I appreciate Sigourney Weaver, yes, female empowerment, badass woman. But I still stand by that it is quite overrated, and it is quite boring, and it takes a long time to get to its point.
I think that's one of the things I'll agree with you on, aside from everything else you've said, is I think every time I watch it, I always forget how long it is.
Because it's
and how long it does take to get to the bits that you kind of remember.
Yeah, see, for me, it's the bit where the alien's in her face, and she's like, "Oh no," and
that's definitely what she says. Yeah,
John Hurt's chest explodes. Other than that, I'm not really interested.
Yeah. I mean, I think, but that's the thing. I think it's because it's celebrated 40 years, hasn't it, this year? This month, actually. And I, like you said, I still think it looks incredible. And that's obviously partly down to H.R. Giger being involved and them having such a solid design, because I don't think anyone had ever seen an alien like that before. I don't think we've seen an alien like that since, really. Everything then gets compared to Alien. Yeah. So that shows you that's kind of set the groundwork for what you do.
I think it's done a lot for the genre of sci-fi horror films, but
it's a haunted house in space, isn't it? That's crazy cool.
I do think it takes a long bloody time to get to.
Talking of taking a long bloody time to get anywhere,
yes,
you know what else can do one, in my opinion? 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh my gosh, yes, masterpiece. But Lord Jesus Christ. Give me an energy drink.
It's very long, isn't it?
Can't be doing with it. And I think the thing is, as a film fan and somebody who watches quite a lot of film and is into film,
it's very indulgent, isn't it?
I feel like that's wrong of me not to like it, but it
is one of those films that everyone's like, you have to like it, otherwise you can't possibly like films.
There's about half an hour of the monkeys at the start, and I was bored after the monkeys.
That and Blade Runner as well. I really didn't like Blade Runner at all. The original, really did not like the Blade Runner 2049 either, which is crazy because I'm that aesthetic.
It should be up your street.
Yeah, it's very 80s, isn't it?
I guess 2001: A Space Odyssey, gorgeous to look at, pioneered so much.
Oh,
and
amazing.
Again, say that was made in the 60s, because it wasn't it?
Literally.
One of the first films on colour as well, I believe.
It looks just as good now.
It looks incredible now.
Then it looks crazy. It was on TV the other day, and I showed Haley bits of it. But, oh God, yeah, what? Can't be doing with it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Cool.
I agree with you on that one.
Maybe not so unpopular, that one, but yeah.
I've got one that you ain't going to agree with.
I've got another one that he's definitely not going to agree with.
I'm just going to pick up a nice heavy drinks bottle now, just for waiting for this opinion.
I mean, this is very much a personal opinion, but slasher films just don't do it for me.
Oh no! I can't even tell you to get out because we're in your house. Oh no!
Well, is it just because it is so formulaic? You just kind of you're a bit bored, or did you not like gore and seeing people die?
It's not the gore.
Well, yeah, because actually you are a bit of a gore fiend, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like watching people get dismembered in horrendous ways. I also like watching it on film.
Yeah,
but
cool.
I don't know. They just don't tickle my pickle. Float my boat.
So horror for you like more maybe psychological, supernatural sort of things?
I would rather watch a spooky haunted house film.
So you'd rather watch something like The Conjuring than like Halloween?
Yes. 100%.
Do you know what?
Fair
I can see that, but I am very much a defender of the slasher.
But I think that's what's so unique about horror, though, is the fact that I think that you're very much a horror fan, which is why we get on so well. But you don't have to like slasher films to still be a massive horror fan, because there's so many subgenres in horror and so many angles you can take to scare someone.
There's some that I can get behind more. I will get behind Halloween more than I'll get behind Friday the 13th.
I thought you were going to come for Nightmare on Elm Street then, which is
thought
why
you were going to come
me.
for Scream, and I also got a little bit.
No, I like Scream because Scream does something different with it and subverts it.
Yeah.
Dare I ask where you stand on Nightmare on Elm Street in terms of the slash universe? Because that's very 80s. It's
I
a
really
very
like
80s.
the remake, the original.
You're such a
No, I have no strong opinions on Nightmare on Elm Street. Basically,
it's great that Charlie makes up for that every
I make
podcast.
up for it all the time.
That's the thing. If it came on TV, I wouldn't watch.
If the remote was broken, you'd leave it on because you can't change channel.
I'd make a cup of tea. I think, to be honest, I don't know. I'm not really bothered. That's the thing. I tried the other week to watch a few of the Halloween films. Because I was like, I'll give them a go. It was because Dave Hastings was on about them, and he's a big fan of Halloween.
Oh yeah.
And I fear I'll never speak to him again, which is a shame because
You've got pickups to shoot.
I've got pickups to shoot, and he sorts me out with what we do in the shadows. But you know, I just
they do get. I think like all the franchises though, because even this is true with like Saw. They start, I think, very strong, and that's why they're popular.
Yeah,
because they offer something. Friday the 13th was definitely born out of the fact that Halloween was successful. So they were like, let's do Halloween with gore, violence, everything that Halloween didn't have because it didn't need. Yeah. Because it was perfect. But then the Halloween films then slowly then went on to become more about the spectacle of the killing and things like that. So they lost what made them special. So I'm not going to be offended if you don't like the Halloweens.
Nightmare on Elm Street started hokey and over the top as shit and continued to be
somehow
hokey and
became worse.
Yeah, get to like Dream Warriors and then stop.
And then really picked up with that remake.
Well, no, but number two, Freddy's Revenge is, I think number 2 is Freddy's Revenge. Yeah, maybe part 2. Part 2 anyway.
No. Part 1 is awesome. Part 2 is okay. Part 3 is like
great. Yeah.
Awesome.
Which is the one where his tongue comes out of the phone?
Part 1.
That's the part 1.
Part 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the original.
It's where she's on the phone to Johnny Depp and she's like, Greg, you shit, because he fell asleep.
And then doesn't he say, I'll be your boyfriend now, Nancy?
Yeah.
And then he's just making out with a chin. Just because that's what women love.
Well,
a bit of chin on chin.
I think the slasher discussion segues onto my other one, which I'm really scared.
Dare.
So I'm gonna really offend my other half right now, and I'm probably gonna upset Dave Hastings as well, which is great because I've got to do the second one.
Halloween.
Like, see, Michael Myers just isn't scary to me.
I can't even look at you, Charlie. For the record, can it be noted, I'm not looking at Charlie.
For the record, Liam is looking away from Charlie.
For the record, Liam can walk back from Derby to Nottingham.
that is fine. I will gladly get the bus and watch
so,
Halloween on the way home.
Good. No, right, okay. I'm not hating on the Halloween films. I enjoy the Halloween films. I just don't find Michael scary. He's just a bloke in a boiler suit with a William Shatner mask on and a big old knife. He's just a serial killer.
Just.
Whereas there's something about
Just.
Jason and Freddy that is supernatural that scares me a whole lot more than just a dude in a mask.
See, I think that's why it's different and why I
Yeah,
find
no,
it
I'm not
scarier,
saying it's not
because
different, but it's not scary.
anyone could be Michael Myers, and I think that's the point of it, is that anyone could pick up a knife, put on a boiler suit and a white mask and go and kill someone. And that's very real, and that's what happens.
Yeah, but
Whereas
I just
Jason
don't find him very scary at all.
is back from the dead. Freddy is in your nightmares and dreams.
Which is what's terrifying.
Oh, no, it's shit, mate.
No.
No.
No. I don't know, there's just something like... I do like the Halloween films. I enjoy them, and I think they're good, and they do have a lot of iconic horror moments in them. But as a villain, he just walks about.
What's missing for you then? Why don't you like him as a villain?
I don't. Maybe
the theatrical.
Maybe it's just like the theatrical side of me that wants a bit more something from a serial killer. But to me, he just kind of wanders around with a knife in a mask, and to me, it's just like that's there's like you said. I think you say like it makes it scarier because it could be anyone, but to me, it's just like. Well, there's 100 Michael Myers out there, and it's
obviously
a bit it makes it boring.
Nightmare on
for
Elm
me.
Street, he does what he does in those films because ultimately what obviously the parents have done. So he's very much on a mission, however convoluted it becomes, they're all somehow related to being on Elm Street and being those kids there. So to me, that's not frightening because just move bloody house. You're not related to being on Elm Street
in
anymore.
every state, which is what was clever about the title.
As a viewer, you know full well that you ain't on Elm Street.
Exactly.
So why would you be scared
also,
of it?
Friday the 13th, you go to that
Camp Crystal
Lake, and that's where he gets you because you're literally on his land.
Don't be a...
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let's not go to Texas. Like, I know that,
but
Halloween
Myers,
is in Haddonfield.
Don't go to Haddonfield. Don't be a pot-smoking, drinking babysitter. End of story. Happy days.
But she isn't. That's the point.
Yeah, but the rest of them are.
Which is why they die. But...
Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't find Michael very scary.
I feel like he's very random, and I think that's what was good in the newer film, was that it wasn't methodical, and there wasn't reasoning necessarily behind it. The only reason, obviously, those two characters were reunited is because Laurie wanted to kill him. It wasn't because he escaped to kill her, because he literally just goes to the first house, picks up the first weapon he can find, and then does what he does best.
And I get
and then
that.
Gets the knife.
I get that. And I get the point that you're making. But to me, I've never found Halloween scary. Ever. Whereas watching Friday the 13th, there were moments where I jumped.
I do find Jason
Nightmare
scary.
on Elm Street scared the absolute shit out of me as a kid. Halloween, I appreciate it for everything that it did for the genre, and that's where it ends for me. Sorry, my darling. Sorry, Dave. Sorry, everybody.
Apology not accepted. So, cool.
I know, I'm not saying that they're crap. This is the biggest thing that I want to... I'm not saying that they're like Halloween is crap films.
That's the thing.
I love them.
I said
the
Ring
films
wasn't scary.
Yeah.
But I thought it was good.
But
Yeah.
I just don't find Michael Myers as a villain that scary. I feel like, yeah, it's clever that like John Carpenter played on the whole, like it could be anyone.
Yeah.
But to me it's kind of, oh well, it just could be anyone. There's nothing exciting about that for me.
Okay. That's weird. It's weird that your reason for not liking it is the reason that Liam does.
Likes it so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas,
I suppose that's the whole point of it, though, isn't it? It's opinion. Everything's subjective, and that's why I think the issue is, if those films came out today, the classic films, I don't think they would be the response that there was when they came out. I think it's because people hadn't necessarily seen something like that, so that's why it became so iconic, and that's why they've become the characters we all talk about.
And I think maybe the reason that I perhaps don't find Michael scary in comparison to like Leatherface, Freddy, Jason, is because I came to Halloween after I came to the others. So I watched Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre before I then watched Halloween.
So you had this sort of
So I had this, preconceived idea of what, like, a slasher villain was, and, like, obviously the other three are very big and flamboyant, and there's something quite, like you were saying,
I
quite
think it's very
theatrical about to them,
with
whereas
Michael, though, isn't it? Yeah.
Halloween I watched after the rest of them and I was like, well, why does everybody go on about how terrifying Michael Myers is, because he really isn't that scary. But maybe if I'd have watched them, like you were saying with the Ring films, maybe if you'd watched them the other way round,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I would find Michael scary, but I just don't.
I think to maybe add to kind of that, because in a similar sort of way to what you've said, what might be an unpopular opinion with horror is that I don't find Chucky or Dolls or anything like that remotely scary. I think obviously with the Annabelle films they've done their best to try and make that as scary as possible, because it's technically a demon moving through the doll, so it's kind of not the doll itself. But with the Chucky films, even as a kid, where I think it was clever that obviously in Child's Play it's a doll versus a kid, and obviously with the remake we're getting that's coming out, the same ideas there. But I've always just thought, why don't you just kick it in the face and like just...
See, I used to think that about the Child's Play films, and then I watched Dead Silence. Don't like dolls. But porcelain-looking dolls. Chucky doesn't scare me, but you know, like the more porcelain, like ventriloquist
The sort
doll.
of dead-eyed.
Yeah.
But I think that's more...
No.
I can find it a bit boring.
I don't know.
I did like Dead Silence though.
I think
Scared
with
the crap out of me.
with films like Chucky and things like that, I think if you have kind of an inbuilt phobia of the dolls, things like that, then they are going to scare the absolute living bejesus out of you.
Yeah, but I think that's what's so good about horror. In, like we were saying before, there's so many subgenres of it. There's something for everybody that like scares you. Whereas like I find slasher films, other than Nightmare on Elm Street that did scare me, I find slasher films quite a lot of fun to watch. Whereas more paranormal things, they're the things that stay with me. Like the ghosty things, like The Conjuring, things like that. They're the things that make me check behind my shower curtain before I go to bed at night, or run up the stairs after I've turned all the lights off.
You see, what's weird with me is I don't like slasher films in the sense that they don't scare me. I'm not too bothered. But home invasion ones get to me.
Yeah, like The Strangers.
The Strangers.
You're next, I guess, to a degree as
ruins
well.
me.
Yeah, but it's because, again, though, I think they're more rooted in realism.
That could happen to...
And there is that randomness.
See, interestingly enough, and I think this might be connected with the whole Michael Myers not being scary thing, like, I appreciate home invasion films, but I don't find them that scary.
Well,
I find
to me is
supernatural
insane.
things very, very scary. And I don't know why.
Was it The Strangers where at the end it says, why did you do it? And it was because you were home.
Yeah.
And
it's
that-
awful, but
That's
That
so
is, as a concept, is
Shocking.
very, very scary, but, like, I don't know, like, home invasion films just kind of...
the thing is, these things happen.
It's the gore and the horrendousness that's like, it's unnerving and it's not nice to watch, but I don't know, I just don't find them overly shocking and... shocking, yes, but scary, no. It's paranormal things.
Okay, so now that Liam officially hates Charlie and that they've split up...
Ending a 7-year relationship.
Not even in the room anymore. Just bye.
Yeah, Liam's phoning this one in now because Charlie's kicked him out.
Ma'am.
Next month, we are going to be talking monster movies, so creature features, in honour of Godzilla, which is coming out very, very soon.
And we're going to
King
see it
of the
on
Monsters.
Wednesday.
Seeing it opening night, IMAX 3D.
Amazing.
Oh,
Liam's going to absolutely just
splurge
float
all
away
over my
in all his own
seat.
juices.
Absolutely. Godzilla, the more recent one that just came out, is probably the film that I've seen the most at the cinema. I went to see it 3
I
times.
was going to say, you went to see it quite a lot, didn't you?
Yeah, I really, really loved it. Plus, I love Mike Doherty, so I'm very excited to see what he does with this.
Yay.
Yeah.
This is the prequel to Godzilla, The Inevitable versus Kong, isn't it? Godzilla.
Yeah, which they're
versus
shooting.
Kong.
So as we were saying, shooting back to back. They're shooting Godzilla vs Kong in Australia. Well, I think they've just wrapped. So
we could chat monster movie mashups next week as well.
100%.
And by week I mean month.
You do indeed, Jono.
Because this is a monthly podcast.
So monster movie mashup, so it could be big budget ones, it could be low budget
I
ones.
think
it could
we
be
should
anything.
all watch like a really good one, or like we should all try and see Godzilla. Then we should have a really like shit one.
Okay.
Like a terrible one. And maybe
Oh
try
my God,
and talk
I've
about some
already
classics
got
as
mine.
well.
I don't even know if it's technically a monster movie, but I think I've got one.
Excellent.
But yeah.
There is, back onto the Ring one, there is a Ring versus Grudge film.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God.
Basically Freddy vs. Jason, but just two girls that look very similar.
I mean, it's, by all accounts, fantastic. So
I
we'll
think
see.
I have seen a little bit of the showdown. I'm sure there's some weird way that they get them together. Like they lure the Grudge girl out of the house and then a well appears and it's
Because
odd.
why not?
Because the well's definitely at the end of the garden where the Grudge happened.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So I think that about wraps up this month's podcast.
Yeah.
Excellent news.
Thank you for listening, I guess, guys.
Yes, thank you very much.
Please don't send us lots of hate on social media. That would be great.
Well, if you want to send Charlie,
No.
Charlie Clark Actress on Facebook.
Excellent.
Just want to... Michael Myers fan club will get on there.
No, I'm not
Get them,
hating the
get them
Halloween
sorted.
films. I just don't find Michael scary. Sorry about it.
Every time she says it,
I've been
it's another
sacked
blow.
off this podcast, haven't I? And
another-
probably being cropped out of You Are My Sunshine as we speak. Sorry, Dave.
It's only fair.
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
only fair.
I think so.
Just ending my career on that opinion. Good.
It's all good.
So we will see you next time. So remember, keep it creepy and see you on the other side.
Oh, we've brought it back. So proud.
Yes.
Hello and welcome to the shitty bollocks.
What episode are we on?
That's what I
Four?
forgot. That's
Three.
what I forgot. 4.
Episode 4, and
4, it
keep
is
saying monthly.
Yes.
Don't say weekly.
Don't say weekly again.
Technically, it's
Okay,
episode
no.
3 because episode 1 came in 2 parts.
Yeah,
No,
it's 4.
but I've changed it on SoundCloud.
Yes.
Also, SoundCloud costs me £12 a month now to host this bastard,
Okay,
so
that's
people need
ridiculous.
to. Yeah, you get like 3 hours upload
Oh, I
time
thought
on it.
SoundCloud was free.
Same for 3 hours it is. So 2 episodes in, we've that. So
Jesus Christ.
corporate bastards.
Thanks,
Sorry.
SoundCloud. How should we go again?
Yeah, so episode 4
Episode 4.
monthly.
Great. Hello and welcome to this episode 4 of Super Freak Media's monthly podcast, No Ghouls Allowed. Gonna do that one more time.
You forgot
That's
what you
the
were
bit at the
hosting
end.
then, didn't you?
Yeah.